Oh, we need somebody to, there you go.
I got you.
All right, we'll go right into questions with Grant Ramey, Mike Wilson, and Gustavo.
Rick, of everything that went wrong tonight, where do you think it started?
With the guys that started the game. Very first play of the game, you know, scouting report, they're going to out of bounds underneath, going to throw the ball in, going to post John Fulgerson up. And think about it, they were disorganized there. The referee laid the ball down, and we look, he's already picked up a water bottle from underneath the basket. And they go there, then he goes down, and early in the game, shot clock violation, where everybody's got to know that. Obviously, we're yelling from the bench early. We always call it with 5 seconds. But, you know, there's not one guy that started the game that was productive. And then we go to the bench. Not great production there either, obviously. But we got exactly what we deserved. We knew they would come out with a lot of emotion. We knew they were going to play hard. We knew they were going to drive the ball hard. We knew they were going to put us in spread pick and roll a lot. We knew that. But the rebounding to start the game, that's where John and Eve, Josiah, those guys, again, they just crushed us on the board. I mean, they had 11 rebounds early in the game that they made something out of. And then offensively, we missed some shots, but still, we weren't very good. And I just didn't, just really disappointed. And I can tell you this, I don't know what it's going to be, but I will change our lineup. It's going to be changed, because I'm not going to let anybody take anything for granted, thinking, hey, we're just going to walk out there and play and show up and think we're good enough. And that's what I felt tonight. And I don't want to take anything away from Florida and Mike White, because they've had a hard year with a lot of different things that have gone on. They deserve to win the game from the start to the finish. But I'm not going to watch us do this. I felt like we had too many guys that felt like, okay, I got to play. And I was proud of Ticket. I mean, I think he ended up being our leading rebounder. And I thought those guys at the end tried to do some things, but just disappointing when you got guys that you expect to do some things and it doesn't happen from the get-go. That's the most disappointing thing.
Rick, when did you decide that Jaden couldn't go? When do you expect him back? And given the 2 games that he's missed all of or most of the time with an ankle injury, is he your most important offensive player? He's important. He's important defensively as much as anything. I mean, Keon got lit up tonight defensively because he doesn't understand ball screen defense. You know, when we really had a chance to get a little momentum, you know, we were switching, and for some reason he just ran out from underneath the basket, left the guy he had switched on, let the big fella dunk the ball, and turning the ball. I mean, but our guards turned it over way too much. You know, Santi got popped pretty good in his hip, and you know, we left it up to him whether or not he wanted to try to play, and he wanted to, but we could tell, you know, without him out there, the little bit he was there. I mean, you saw what happened when he wasn't out there, and Jaden not out there. We just threw the ball, turned the ball over in ways that you can't imagine, to be quite honest with you, at this level with supposing guys that understand how to play basketball. So when did you decide that Jaden couldn't go, and when do you expect him? Well, he hadn't practiced. I'm sorry, Mike. He hadn't practiced. He has not practiced since the last game. And he was during the shoot around and stuff yesterday. He couldn't go. He just gimping around.
Gustavo.
Coach, how do you see the performance on your team on the paint side? You know, it was only 22 points. How do you see the performance on your team on that side?
I didn't see anything good tonight. I didn't see one thing other than Devontae Gaines. I'm proud of him because, you know, what you see him do tonight, and it's my fault. Probably let too many guys get comfortable, but I didn't see anything good at all, to be quite honest with you.
Wes Rucker and Rob Lewis.
Rick, I know that you talked about the bad start there, but are you just as surprised that the guys didn't kind of snap into it at some point? I mean, these guys have won a lot of games, and it looked like there just wasn't a lot of fight back there.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. You know, there gets to be a point. You know, you got to get leadership from your seniors, and you know, Folky and Eve can't hide behind anybody. They can. I mean, there's a lot of teams that we beat up on with that last group a couple years ago, but now those guys are the ones that got to. I mean, when you're in a situation like that, those young guys are waiting on those guys to lead them because they played more games, and they haven't done it. And all we've asked Eve to do to simplify for him is to play defense and rebound. He hasn't done that. He had at some point in time, we got to make some shots too, obviously, but we just didn't get the leadership. We don't have the leadership that we need, obviously, and we got to get it. But again, I can tell you this. It makes me sick to watch a group of guys not play hard and watch. I mean, as a coach, it's probably the hardest thing to stomach as a coach when you know the other team is playing harder in every facet of the game, beating you every which way, and you don't respond. And that's how you felt. That's how I felt tonight anyway. And that's the most disappointing part of the game.
Coach, you kind of answered the question I wanted to ask with that last statement, but were you surprised or how disappointed were you? And it looked like you guys just didn't meet Florida's intensity early. And then when you still had a chance, just down 11, you didn't have it in the second half either to start those first 4 minutes.
You know what? I felt like watching the game, and I didn't again, from the beginning, I wasn't happy from the beginning. I think I took Folky out early because the guys were looking at him. I mean, you know, he's a guy that we're looking at, and yeah, and I'm not putting it on him because it's not, but he's an important cog to this wheel. And but the fact of the matter is, when we were there, we just we kept acting like, okay, we're going to get this going, we're going to get this going. But it's the way our guards. I mean, our guard play was horrendous. I mean, if you think about it, the turnovers, the missed shots, and what bothered me at halftime, I kept telling them early in the game, you know, Folky and Eve, they do need to touch the ball. They do, but it's up to them to get involved. And they were allowing themselves to get pushed around. And the scout report's easy right now on John Fulkerson. You know, push him off the lane, go double him. And all we've asked him to do is not stand there and do that. Get movement, get active. We can roll him in there. We can run him in there, but he's got to do it. And then Eve, again, right now he's just not doing the things that we need him to do. And like I told the team, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what we're going to do. But I can assure you we are going to change the lineup because of what you just said, Rob. That disappoints me the most, that those guys didn't find a way to at least scratch it out and make some changes. They came out of the timeouts. They said all the right things, but their actions didn't follow it up.
Nicholas Hill and Ryan Shumpert.
Coach, it really looked like you guys really struggled with Florida's zone pressures and backcourt traps. Just how concerning was it for you to see how much your team struggled with that and how it affected your team offensively and was not able to get rhythms?
You think about it. We start the game with three guys that have played the point at some time in their career, and we told them they were exactly what they were going to do. Do not put all the pressure on Santi. You guys get down the court, get it, and go with it. And I said it for 3-4 days, whatever it is. And the wings kept running off, and they keep putting all the pressure on Santi, and they did. Believe me, they did exactly what we talked about, what we worked on, exactly. But when Santi was getting double teamed, those other wings to start with were nowhere to be found, and that's really disappointing. That tells you that you're not locked in. That tells you you're just going through the motions. And believe me, we proved tonight that we're not good enough to go through the motions.
Seems like in the past this season when the offense has struggled, it's just been as simple as not making open shots. Obviously, that wasn't the case tonight. What was Florida able to do to get y'all from getting good?
We didn't run any offense. We got down the floor. We didn't get where we were supposed to be. We didn't flow, and that goes back to point guard play. You know, they're going after Santi. Santi's great off the ball, but those other two guys have to take charge at that time. I mean, we don't want to fight to give Santi the ball to get our offense started. We don't have to do that. We work too much the other way. But when the lights come on, we got a couple guys that refuse to do what they need to do, and that's very frustrating, to be quite honest with you.
Finish up with
When
Ben.
you're playing with guys, again, you're playing with three guys that have played, and you come off the bench with a fourth guy that played the point. And they just leave it to him, like, okay, let him go do all this, and it's not fair to him.
Ben McKee, then Mike will finish up.
Coach, the offensive rebounds, giving up points in the paint, the rebounding battle. Is that just simply a lack of effort, or is there fundamental basketball issues there as well?
I think it's a lack of taking the challenge, is what I think. I mean, you knew they were going to come out, play aggressive. I mean, Mike's team do that. They're going to do that. But we got our front line. I mean, Eve Pons can't end up the game with 3 rebounds. He can't. His sole thing is to play defensive rebound. I think Folky, I don't even know. I didn't even look at how many rebounds did he have tonight?
I believe he had 4.
How many did Devontae Gaines have?
He tied for the team lead with 5.
So who's the other guy that had 5?
Josiah.
So how many guys how many did EJ have?
3.
How many of Euros have? Olivier?
Urosh had 1. Olivier had 3.
So again, so think about it. Those guys played less minutes and had more rebounds or as many rebounds as Eve Pons. And Folky only had how many? 5? Or how many
4.
Folky had?
4.
4. So that right there tells you a lot.
Rick, I just wanted to get your reaction to the football program news yesterday with Philip Fulmer retiring and Jeremy Pruitt being fired.
Well, obviously, I really feel for our football staff because there's a lot of really nice people there that, you know, this obviously is very tough on families, not just one family, but many families. But I think it's quite obvious that when you look at what transpired during the press conference, I have just unbelievable respect for Philip Fulmer. He's a Texas legend. I met him my first year here through a Bible study that we share. And there's not a person that I've ever come in contact with that loves this university more than him. And he wanted to come in, and I will tell you, he did a job that I think he was asked to do. He was asked to calm things down, to bring warmth to the athletic department, to get people re-engaged. And I think what he did with the entire athletic department, he's done that at a way that, and I'm sure, again, he's disappointed in a lot of things because he wanted to fix the entire thing. And there is no question, you watch that press conference, that anybody in America, an athletic director, a football coach, would not want to sit under the leadership of Randy Boyd and Donnie Plowman. I mean, the one thing that was quite obvious, and I will tell you this is a great university. It is a great university. And where that starts, and I've been at a lot of different places, the leadership that's in place right here, right now, is one of the best I've ever been around, if not the best. And when you know what I know from the inside, from that, and I know this, I am blessed to have the chance to have a leader like Philip Fulmer was for me. And I will tell you this, since I've been here, I think this is going to be our 4th AD. I've had a great relationship with all the ADs that were here, and I have great admiration for them. And sometimes you go through these periods. I mean, so much can happen, and it's hard to get it back. But I am going to tell you this: the leadership at this university is, I think, the best. And having a chance to have Dondi and really Randy, and to hear them sit there and talk like that, there are so many people that would love to have a chance to be a part of this great university. And I'm just blessed that I am. And so going forward, there is no doubt it's going to get better. There's going to be great days ahead for us because of that. There's too many people at this university that love it too much not to think that, and I'm disappointed tonight with the way we played. I really am, because it hurts when you play as badly as we played tonight. But I can just tell you this, the most important thing, and I've said it from the time that I took this job, and I think that what they said yesterday is there's nothing more important than the integrity of this university. Nothing. It's one of the great universities in the country, and it's going to get better. When you think of all those people that have come, not just athletes, but students in general, we've got so much to be proud of. And I think that is what came from yesterday in terms of moving forward. We're a university that's led by people that expects excellence in everything that we do. But again, the word integrity was thrown around, and I do think that's integrity and truth is the most important thing that we can do in our jobs and position. And I'm thankful for what the leadership they've brought to us. And I'm going to miss Coach. I mean, we're friends, and that's been one of the great blessings coming here, because he is a true Tennessee legend. And I do want people to know that he worked really hard to try to get things calmed down and back in place. And I do think that he's done that as an athletic department.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, guys.